Hello, everyone. On today, my restaurant diary, we will be talking about SOP. SOP is very important. Running your restaurant, you won't believe the importance of having those process in place. SOP is standard operation procedure. I had a manual, and all the instructions or all the procedures was in that manual. But in many places in the restaurant, I place the paper on the wall, and it was usually typed in red ink, so it really stood out. Um, the SOP is very important because you can't assume that when you tell your employees or you give them instruction that they will remember. They don't remember unless they're doing it over and over and over and over again. Then it becomes a part of them. One of the SOPs that I had was first thing when you come in the morning, things that you would do. You would, for example, turn on the deep fryer, turn on the air conditioner, make sure everything is in order, count the money. It's little details, little things like that that you do. When you're closing, of course, you're going to make sure the restaurant is clean. That's not even a conversation. You make sure you turn on the alarm system. Make sure both doors are closed, the back door and the front door. You double check that. Procedures that you must follow. I also had a procedure for cleaning. You can't assume that everyone knows how to clean the restaurant, that everyone knows how to mop. To go to the table, wipe the tables off, wipe the chairs off, put everything back. There was a procedure, move the table, sweep, and then, of course, mop, put everything back in order. That when you come in the morning, there's nothing to do but just basically get ready to open the restaurant. There was another procedure for the ladies or men that are working the steam table. Two scoop of rice. Depends, two pieces of chicken, one large scoop of cabbage, you know, three or four plantains. There are procedures to be kept in order when you're running your restaurant. Another procedure was, washing the dishes, for the person that does the dishes. You wash, you rinse, and then you sanitize. And then, of course, you put everything back up. Uh, Procedures are very important, and many a times you will find that the employees don't want to follow, and you are thinking like, you need to do this. You need to do this. There's no way around it. You have to follow these process that everything works and fall in place the right way. Another procedure was the women, you must wear a hairnet. Men, if you're here, you must put a hairnet on because hair flies, in a restaurant. And you don't want anyone to get any food and there is hair in their food. Um, so these were standard operation procedures when you run in your restaurant. Another one that was very important, putting away the food in the evening, stacking the freezer, stacking the refrigerator. You don't put meat on top, and then the vegetable in the bottom. The meat will drip, and that will affect everything under, and you make sure everything is labeled. You packing up, and let's say, for example, all the salad, we did not use all the salad that day. You would date that salad and you would put it on top. You would not put it in the bottom. Everything had to be sealed So running a business, you need to have um, operation procedures, how to operate the restaurant, what needs to be done. Um, Another one is washing your hands. That's not an option. You come out the you come out the bathroom, you need to wash your hands. And I had it set up in a way that as soon as they came out the bathroom, I had a small sink. So I don't know if you wash your hands in the bathroom, but when you come out here, you're going to wash your hands again. And it made the customers feel safe because they saw the employees washing their hands, and drying off their hands and putting their gloves on. If you're dealing with money, you have to wash your hands. You cannot just deal with the money and go and serve, you know. So uh, there's a manual for them to follow, and I usually had them sign off on it. And I also, like I said, I had it on the wall where they can see it and read it and do it. You weren't allowed to be using a deep fryer and using your phone. You were not allowed to have the phone on the floor. And I remember one time I came out, I went and I sat down and I came in and I caught one of the employees on the phone on a deep fryer. I don't know if she was turning empanadas or something. And I was like, you signed off that there is no phone on the floor. If you have an emergency call and you need to speak to someone, you leave. You go outside the restaurant or you go in the back or wherever, but you don't use the phone. Standard operating procedures. Very, 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 very important in a restaurant. You cannot assume that they are going to do it. You cannot assume that it's is common sense and they should know it. Don't assume that. You talk to them, you have them sign it, and then things that you know that they are not going to remember, those are the things that you put on the wall. The labeling of food, putting things back in the refrigerator the right way, having everything dated, like wiping down the walls, like I said, the opening, the closing, all those things, especially the cleaning person at night. You have to sweep after you wash the pots and the pan. You have to sweep and you have to mop. And when you leave that kitchen, it has to be clean because when I come in the morning to cook, there's no excuse. I want clean pots. I want a clean kitchen. I want clean towels. I want everything in order if you want to run a successful restaurant. So I hope this helped you. And with everything with running your restaurant, please have your SOP, standard operation procedure. It will save you so much mistakes. It will create order in your restaurant, and your restaurant should be able to flow smoothly if everyone does what they're supposed to do. Thank you for listening and watching my restaurant diary, and hopefully, this little tip will help you in your process of opening and running your restaurant. And don't forget, you can do it. Just do it and follow your dreams and open up that restaurant. Thank you. Have an amazing day.